That's very sensible.
Yes.
Oh, hang on.
Yes,
There.
yes.
So,
There we go.
oh, do you know that is steaming?
Yep.
Oh, that is still warm. The thermometer reveals that the temperature inside the elephant remains surprisingly constant at around 37 degrees, about the same as us. But the elephant's outside temperature is a different story. Using a thermal imaging camera, the scientists measure skin temperatures of over 55 degrees during the day. And their external temperature remains high during the cold nights to keep the elephant warm. But just before dawn, their skin temperature drops dramatically. Somehow, elephants are managing to dump their extra heat. We know they don't sweat, so how are they doing it? The answer lies in a surprising part of their anatomy, their ears. Joy's carrying out some very fine dissection work that'll explain why elephants need such big ears.
If we look at the back of the ear and open it up, what we see are a whole bunch of blood vessels that are running here. So the elephant takes its hot blood, runs it into this ear where the vessels are close to the surface, and then is able to radiate off that heat. They can actually throw all of their blood from their entire body through this radiator in only about 20 minutes. And if they actually flap the ear back and forth and create an air current across it, that helps with the cooling.
It's a remarkably simple system. Warm blood is pumped from the body into fine blood vessels near the surface of the skin of the ear. Here it's cooled down by the air before being pumped back into the body. And by flapping its ears, the elephant increases the airflow to cool its blood more quickly. Evolution has found an ingenious way of preventing this large animal from overheating. As they became bigger, every part of their body had to adapt. Their skeleton had to strengthen to cope with the extra weight.
As they grew, the legs evolved to be stiff, rigid columns supporting the body and allowing cooling air to pass beneath the belly. The ribs and the chest became more barrel-shaped to contain the massive guts, while the backbone grew to be quite robust, allowing you to hang the entire weight, the entire body from it as a sort of arch, a bit like a suspension bridge, while the neck became shorter and shorter, moving the head closer to the front limbs and better able to support it, while the head grew to be massive to deal with the volume of food that they were consuming.
Elephants have enormous strength. You provoke them at your peril. If panicked, they can run you down. How they support and move their massive weight is the next part of the puzzle for the dissection team. Imagine how your legs and feet would feel if you were forced to stand up for the whole of your life. Well, that's exactly what elephants have to do. But here's something to reckon with. This elephant is 40 times my weight, yet it's standing on a surface area that actually is only a few times bigger than the sole of my feet. It's clear there's something very special about elephants' feet. John Hutchinson is an expert in animal locomotion here at the Royal Veterinary College with a particular interest in elephants.
That's right. Yep.
How do these incredible animals manage to cope with the challenge of carrying around so much weight just on four legs?
Real bone, including elephant bone, is made of two kinds of materials. It's a composite. And we can do an interesting preparation here where we soak a normal mammalian bone in acid and remove the mineral component from the bone. And that's what we've done. What you'll see, if I apply just a little bit of load to this bone, is that it's remarkably compliant, it's remarkably bendy. In contrast, this is the same bone from a similar species, and bake it, really high temperatures, and that will remove the organic material, so we're just left with the mineral component of bone. And that bone is really, really brittle. And you can see right here, I can break it right away. So an elephant, just like any other mammal or other vertebrate, has a skeleton made of both flexible and rigid mineral and organic materials.
Okay, I understand that, but how are the bones actually arranged in the leg?
Elephants support their weight by having large muscles, but also by having nice, strong bones, and by holding all that together in a pillar-like system. You can see here, for example, this is a cross-section we've taken of our elephant tibia, or shank bone. And you can see it's quite solid here. You can knock on it. There's no marrow cavity in the middle. There's no empty space. And this is a very strong way of building a bone for handling compression, lots of weight on the bone.
Elephants can weigh up to 12.5 tons, and their legs have evolved to support that weight. They spend their entire lives on their feet. If they lie down, they can suffocate. Yet when they want to, elephants can move surprisingly fast, reaching speeds in excess of 20 miles an hour. This produces potentially bone-shattering forces. So how do they manage to run? We all know that when animals like horses want to move fast, they change gait. It's just like a gear change in a car. It's a matter of efficiency.
Avignon here is going to demonstrate some of the different gaits. At the moment, she's walking. She's always got 2 or 3 of her feet on the ground at a time. As she moves faster, she starts to trot. Her legs are moving in diagonal pairs. She's airborne for a brief moment. If we speed up even more, we get to the canter. Her feet are off the ground for even longer. If she goes any faster, she'll eventually go to a gallop. The question is, when elephants run, how do they change their gait?
When an elephant wants to go quickly, it'll switch to its running gait, which can go easily 10, 15 miles an hour, maybe faster.
But John's sure that something else is going on. So, borrowing a technique from the motion picture industry, he films them with a high-speed camera. By feeding the images into a computer, he creates a virtual elephant. The results reveal that there is more to the elephant's foot than meets the eye.
It's using the limbs like pogo sticks to compress and rebound with each step and vault the animal upwards.
John, I'm really intrigued to find out a bit more about this pogo stick idea. And you've come up with a way of demonstrating it using a hydraulic press, yeah?
Yep. It's just basically a car jack that we've co-opted for use in our experiments. So we'll be applying eventually quite a large load to this, and it will show us how the elephant's foot responds to being loaded.
Obviously, when an elephant's standing, you've got 3 tons over 4 feet, but actually if it was, say, running, the forces on each foot as it lands is going to be considerably more than that.
Sure, they can get up to 1 body weight on each foot at a time during
Okay, so that's 3 tons over just the surface area here.
But already it's beginning to compress a bit.
That's pretty dramatic, isn't it, in the heel, how that's starting to swell out sideways?
And so that seems like about the tension I'd expect in a standing elephant.
Right, so you could have 4 times that force when they're running? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
And then as it rolls over onto its toes, again, if you release the pressure, I mean, it just feeds back in again and actually almost automatically lifts the whole limb.
Yeah, there's some spring-like action to that, helping to push it forward.
I mean, the mechanics of this inside, from an anatomy point of view, are we able to have a look at that?
Yes. What we have done over here is taken a foot and run it through a bandsaw.
Just take me through, this is the first time I've ever seen, obviously, inside an elephant's foot, so just take me through all the anatomy in here.
Yeah, we've taken the cut right through the midline, so through the 3rd toe, the middle toe of the foot. This is the very tip of the toe with the toenail just a centimeter, half an inch away from the bone. And then these are the little toe bones coming up, so the elephant's standing up on its tiptoes.
How many digits are they standing on?
They're standing on 5 toes.
So they are standing on 5?
Yes, okay. Yeah, exactly.
Just like all mammals, elephants have 5 toes. In fact, the whole foot is remarkably similar to ours, right the way up to the ankle joint. But it's beneath that joint in the elephant's